Executive producers Lucy Arnaz and Desi Arnaz Jr. Wow. So I just got finished watching the film Being the Ricardos. And maybe I need to go back and watch it again. It's a decent film, but I really felt like, I don't know, honestly, truthfully, there is another film with I think Danny Pino. I think that was his name. Is his name. And Danny Pino was on Law and Order SVU. I think it's Danny Pino. God, I hope I'm getting his name right. But anyway, there was a movie came out back in 2005, a miniseries on CBS, and I thought it was much more. I felt like it was much more in depth, and I felt like it was much more in depth. I think that's the best way to say it. I liked it a lot better than this. I'm not dissing this movie. I think this gives a good perspective, especially on the communist scare. That was a tough time back then. So this is not a biographical pick as much as it is a situational pick, basically documenting a certain situation in time. So, like I said, I think it's a decent movie. It's worth watching, but I am not. I'm not completely sold on it. You know, I do like the fact that Lucy Arnaz was involved and Desi Arnaz Jr. were involved with the actual production. And so I think that gives an air to the accuracy. That's important for me in any type of biographical film is accuracy. And this was pretty raw. It was a very raw performance. I can say the acting of Nicole Kidman and gosh, I can't remember the lead actor's name, but they did a fantastic job. A great film. It's definitely going to be on my one-time watch movie list. I just don't see it having a lot of rewatchability for me. But I think it's definitely one worth watching. It's one to probably even have in your collection. It's a good film. Nicole Kidman, I've got to say, sounded just like Lucille Ball. I was blown away even when I saw the previews. I said, my God, she sounds just like Lucille Ball. I loved it. And that was impressive. And Lucille Ball is a very tough, complex person to try to fit into those shoes, And I gotta say, I'll hand it to Nicole Kidman. Like, I'm really impressed that she was able to hone in on Lucille Ball that way. Like I said, worth a watch. It's a good film. It's just not. I would say it's not the best. I think if you want to watch this, I think this should be. Let's put it this way: if you're going to watch something about Lucille Ball, the first thing you should watch is the documentary, not documentary, but the movie. I believe it was called Lucy, 2005. I believe his name's Danny Pino. I cannot remember the lead actress's name who played Lucille Ball, but did a fantastic job, and it was very convincing. It covered everything from Buster Keaton mentoring her, and that alone means a lot to see Buster Keaton mentoring her and have that documented. It's a big piece, and I am a huge admirer of Buster Keaton, so that's just huge. There's another documentary available. I believe it was done by American Masters, and I'd have to look it up, but that's a very good documentary. The first documentary I saw as a child was what they called Lucy and Desi, a home movie, and I believe it's actually called that, if I'm not mistaken. I actually ended up buying the DVD, I think, maybe a few years ago, and it's worth the money. It's a wonderful, wonderful film, and I saw it on Nick at Night. years ago. I actually just got finished transferring those tapes over from about 26 years ago on Nick at Night. I watched this as a child, and I thought, wow, this is something. And Lucille Ball was a beautiful woman. Oh my gosh, wow. Um, it starts off with her in this bathing suit in their home movies, and I was enthralled. I was like, oh my gosh, she is gorgeous. And you see the comedian, and if you haven't studied her and you haven't watched a lot of her other acting, you don't really get to see, oh wow, this is a real woman right here. She's something, and she was a very strong woman from what I've gathered, and I like that. Tough. Um, anyway, Lucy and Desi, a home movie, probably be the first place to start because that's the oldest documentary that I'm aware of, and it was done by the family. It's very in depth. It's very personal and intimate. That's one. The documentary from American Masters, and then of course Lucy, the miniseries, I thought was just fabulous. Um, I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. This would be fourth on my list, though. This would not be the first thing I would want to see about Lucille Ball. Now, granted, it does pique your interest on Lucille Ball. I mean, if you're watching this for the first time and you've never studied Lucille Ball, this is enough to pique your interest. So I gotta know more. So I could say if you're new to it, then this might be a good place to start. But I just kind of got to go in the order that I kind of went in growing up. Lucy and Desi, a home movie, the documentary from American Masters, and then Lucy, the miniseries. That's just me. But this is a good movie. And I'm looking right now. There's 424 reviews. IMDb has a 6.9 for it, so it's getting. I can see it's getting mixed reviews. It's obviously above a 5, which is good, but it's getting some mixed reviews. It's got like 3.5 stars. It's not even 4 stars according to this. So there is that part of it. I don't know. Anytime you do biographical films, it's tough. Like, for instance, we got the new Elvis movie coming out in June of next year, which I'm excited to see. But, and with Tom Hanks' name on it, it's probably going to be really good, but I'm just kind of debating. I've seen them really screw Elvis up a few times, so hopefully that'll be better, and, it won't be a lackluster attempt at looking at his life and everything. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Definitely go watch the movie. It's worth watching, and I think you'll find it satisfactory. I would be curious to see the reviews. So definitely, give some feedback on what the whole thing. Give some feedback. I would like to see personally your thoughts on what you think of the film after you see it. But anyway, that's that. And for now, I am out.